Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Market Outlook presented by SwissBorg. This week, we'll be taking a look at four very interesting topics. The first, we'll look at Bitcoin and being back in the status seen as digital gold. The second is we'll look at crypto activity and DApp activity, and we'll see in what category that activity fits in. Thirdly, we'll take a look at Elon Musk's recent acquisition of Twitter and how that has moved the crypto market in turn. And finally, we'll end with a look at CHSB's price action, which has been extremely interesting lately. Start of this week, last week in my market outlook, I discussed the fact that I would look at comparisons between stock and crypto markets. And therefore, this week, I really want to start with a correlation analysis. So Bitcoin seems to have regained its status as digital gold, which is pretty much one of the main use cases, or at least one of the main functions that our society saw for Bitcoin, which is digital gold, meaning a digital store of value. Now, throughout the years, the correlation between Bitcoin and gold had been progressively increasing, but as of the last couple of years, we saw a drastic drop in that correlation, meaning that a lot less investors were seeing Bitcoin as a store of value, as digital gold, and more as another fluctuating asset. Which means that Bitcoin was being seen very differently by investors. Now, lately, that correlation has been picking up again. As you can see there from the chart, the orange line tracks the correlation between Bitcoin and gold, and we can see that progressively increasing yet again, meaning that the opinion or perspective of investors is shifting back again to this idea of Bitcoin being digital gold. This is also very much in line with inflation increasing globally, meaning that rather than having cash at hand and that cash progressively losing value because you can buy less goods and services more and more over time with that cash, therefore investors are perhaps flocking to Bitcoin to maintain or to at least increase their holdings rather than holding cash that would progressively lose value over time. At the same time, not only is Bitcoin being back to a store of value status in the form of digital gold, but we also see that its maturity is constantly increasing as well. You can see from the blue and light blue lines that track the correlation between Bitcoin and the stock markets in the form of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, that correlation is also being seen to increase. Therefore, it's not only back to correlating with gold as a store of value, but also in stock markets, which signals Bitcoin's increasing maturity and mass adoption over time. The second interesting focus of this week, and maybe a focus that I haven't really touched on in a lot of my market outlooks, is where in terms of categories is crypto activity and also decentralized application activity, where is that focused in this market? So when we look at activity on dApps or in general crypto activity, we could look at it from two main aspects, at least the more interesting aspects that could tell us something about the market at the moment. The first is looking at it from a volume perspective, and the second from a unique wallet perspective. So when we mention volume, we're talking about dollar amounts. Therefore, even if 1,000 unique wallets are active in a certain category, maybe all of those wallets are only active with, let's say, $1, whereas one single wallet could be active with $100,000. And that is more pertaining to volume. It's not so much by number of people engaged or active, it's more about dollar amount that is active. So when we look at it in terms of volume, both over time and as a snapshot, we can see very clearly that the majority of the activity is in the DeFi space. Therefore, dApps that are on DeFi platforms, DeFi protocols, and really that is the main source of activity, followed by exchanges. So decentralized exchanges overall. That is where the majority of crypto activity is focused, both over time and at the moment. And we see that all the other categories, whether that is collectibles or even the gaming space, those are all very minimal, at least for the moment, when it comes to volume compared to exchanges and compared to the DeFi space. Now, what's more interesting here, though, is that although the volume amounts in terms of dollars or just stable coins, right, is higher in those two, we can see that when it comes to unique wallet activity, so unique address activity, the main category that is hit here is actually the gaming space. So gaming is actually outperforming the DeFi space and then exchanges and all the other categories quite by some margin, which means that although maybe the volume in the gaming play to earn and play and earn space is not as much at the moment, we can see that in terms of people that it's attracting, or amount of wallets, amount of people that are engaged in the gaming space, it is pretty significant, which shows you the potential that the gaming space has, since the DeFi space is a bit more mature, and we can see that volumes and unique wallets do match and are in line. The gaming space has perhaps even more potential given the low volumes compared to how many people at the moment are interested. So this is something that we'll definitely be tracking to see if volumes in the gaming space increase, or perhaps if the amount of wallets keep going up whilst the volume still remains relatively smaller than the other categories. This week, it really wouldn't be a market outlook without mentioning the obvious, the elephant in the room, which is that Elon Musk finally decided to acquire Twitter. Now, what does this mean? This means that in the crypto market, his enthusiasm for meme coins, for dog-related tokens, which is really what the case is here, mainly in the form of Dogecoin, but also in the form of the other, maybe a bit lesser known tokens, it has caused these dog-related coins to skyrocket. Really, if you look all across the market, if it's Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, lesser known like Doge Elon Mars, for example, and a variety of others, they've all skyrocketed due to Elon Musk's acquiring Twitter. What does this mean? This means that people are both excited by the fact that Elon Musk acquired Twitter, and therefore that tokens that could relate to him all of a sudden exploded just by name association, pretty much. But there's something extra here, which is that people are starting to speculate that Dogecoin and a couple of others could potentially even be integrated in Twitter, in the platform, as some form of payment or some other use case. Now, the chart there shows you very clearly with the yellow dot, and it's a chart of Dogecoin, when Elon Musk acquired Twitter, what happened to the price action, which is a pretty significant jump if you really zoom in to the short-term market and short-term price movements. Of course, any future development with Dogecoin, with Shiba Inu, with any other of the meme dog coins is complete speculation at the moment. Price action, so the upward movement of these tokens at the moment, is due simply to name association or name recognition because of Elon Musk acquiring Twitter. So we'll see. Are these going to keep going up? Will something actually happen in terms of clear utility on Twitter, on their platform, with Dogecoin, with Shiba Inu, or any of the others? That will remain to be seen. But at the moment, it's a pretty logical movement for these tokens, especially with how much of a fanatic we know Elon to be with meme tokens overall. So finally this week, as an extremely positive news, as you might all have seen and might all know by now, CHSB's price action has been incredible. It has clearly outperformed the large majority of tokens in the top 200 by market cap, and doesn't seem to be slowing down at the moment. Of course, no one really knows where the price is going to head from this point onwards. As of the time of recording this, the price was close to 26 cents. Which represented almost a 45% increase, actually more than 45% in the last month. And in the last week, we're looking in the double-digit figures. So extremely, extremely positive price action for CHSB, and a lot of very exciting news that's coming up. You will have all heard of thematics, of the earn strategies, of all the variety of projects and initiatives that SwissBorg is embarking on at the moment. And there's a lot more on the horizon to come. So this is a short-term increase in the price. That it was a long time coming. It was very logical that this would happen with all of the different products that SwissBorg's coming out with. But there's a lot of more, way more exciting news on the horizon that we're very, very happy to share with you coming soon. So stay tuned for that. That was all from me this week. Thank you very much for listening. I hope it's been very informative, and I'll catch you all next week. Take care.